Hey guys, welcome back. So I got a little project today. Guy from work, it's a getter out. He has this very old quantum saltwater fishing reel, and it fell apart quite a few years ago. So he's been trying to hunt down the parts for it. So today he decided to try and work on it. He found some of the parts for it, and it's this piece right here, which is for the bail. Okay, you can't buy this piece anymore. You can buy this assembly where the string goes, the swivel, the bail itself, the wire, but he can't get this part off. It had a Phillips head screw in the end here, and he tried to drill it out after it's stripped, and it's kind of going off to one side. So I said, well, let me have it. Let me see what I can do. This may not work. This is a very hard piece to hold. It's angled in compound angles so many different ways. It does have a magnet on the surface right here. So what I decided to do is, over here in the milling machine, I'm going to take this magnetic part and with the little pin that's sticking up, and I'm going to stick it in a 1-2-3 block. Boom, it should stick right on there with the magnet. I'm going to find some way to clamp it, and I'm going to have to do some indicating. So let me bring you over here. Okay, so right now the magnet is basically holding it on the 1-2-3 block. What I'm going to do is I'm going to level it with my little starret level in both directions. I'm going to clamp it from here to here. I'm going to take a dial indicator and I'm going to indicate around this round piece right here, and I'm going to drill it from this side, hoping that I'm going to push it out at some point when I start to break through. Okay, I really don't want to drill right through, but I mean, if we have to, we have to. I'm hoping that I can push it out. Before I do any of this, I'm going to take my soldering iron and I'm going to put a little bit of heat on this screw, because there's probably some Loctite in here. It's definitely stainless, and this is some type of an aluminum. So I'm going to try that first. You've got a little bit of a hole in there. I'll put a easy out in there by hand and just kind of move it by hand and see if it comes out. But my plan is to heat it up a little bit just to make sure that if there's any Loctite in there, I'll release it. And then hopefully, after I indicate this in, I can drill and push it right out through, and then he can put the new assembly on here. So that's my plan. If it doesn't work, you probably will never see this video. I don't have a lot of hopes for this because, number one, it's very hard to hold. Everything's angled. But we're going to give it a shot. He's about giving up on this reel, and it was a very expensive reel many years ago. I think, 30 years ago he paid $150 for this reel. So he'd like to put it back into service. He does a lot of saltwater fishing, so I'm going to try and help him out, and we'll see what happens. Okay? See you in a few minutes after I get everything indicated in. Alright, so I got it all clamped up. And like I said, I used my starret level to level it in the x-axis and the y-axis. I put a little machinist jack underneath it, and that's really, I can't leave that there if I drill right through, obviously. But for at least to get it started. And then I put my spring-loaded center in, and I got it pretty close to where the center was, and then I put my dial indicator in here, and I'm sweeping the whole outside of this bearing surface, which I'm well within 1,000. Okay, so for a screw, it should be okay. So what I'm going to do first, and right now I have a chuck in here. I'm going to catch grief because I'm going to put an end mill in here, and I'm just going to touch that bottom. I'm not going to put any side pressure on it. I just want to try to flatten it out a little bit so I can spot it and I can send a drill down through. Okay, so that's my first. That's what I'm going to do next. Okay, let me break the indicator down and we'll go from there. Whatever that is, it's hot as a rock. Okay, redirect. As you can see, the bottom side of that is hot as a rock. So, not having all the pieces, I believe that is part of the little bearing assembly. This screw goes down through the top, goes through the aluminum, and screws into this hardened piece. So I think if I pop the head off of this, I'll be able to slide the whole assembly out. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I lined it up with that base like I did before with the level, only I pushed it up against this parallel, locked it down tight, and I lined it up with a dowel pin. So I'm not going to drill it right out to size, so I think the dowel pin will be close enough. I'm going to zero my dro just so that in case I have to move something, I can come back. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an end mill in here. I'm just going to flatten the top off a little bit and see if I can get a drill to start in there. Might be a problem because he had drilled down in here crooked. So I may have to go right in with an end mill. I may have to bore down in with an end mill. Well, let's give it a shot. can see, I popped the head off. I hate to pull this whole setup all apart and find out it's not going to come out of there, but that's what we're going to have to do. Let me take a quick peek at it. It looks like I can push it right through there. All right, so I'm going to break this down and see if it pushes through. Okay, be right back. All right, so I took a little punch. And let's see if I can get this up there. I took a little punch and I punched it out. And it was epoxied in. So you can see where the recess is. And you can see where the epoxy was up inside there. So Joe did drill a little bit into the side, as you can see that, but I think it'll still work. We'll see what happens. Hey, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was a success. We'll see. We'll ship this over to Joe and see if you can assemble it and see if it works. Okay? All right, thanks. If you like what I do, please hit the like button, subscribe. I plan on making a lot more videos and anytime something comes up. All right, thanks a lot, guys.